Bear's effort in one particular area of rubble led to a sad recovery. New York City Fire Chief Peter Gansey.
He was hitting upon pieces of paper that were over the area with blood on it and then scenting down below that there was somebody down there. We found him in the area against the American Express building underneath a fence and some other things.
How much credit do you give Bear in helping you find your chief?
All of it.
Firefighter John Augier was the first to reach Gansey. He only knew he'd found his chief after looking through a wallet near the body. He's still amazed the canine of Bear's age could arrive on the scene so quickly with such determination.
To see this dog climb up and over some of these pieces of steel and crushed concrete, Bear was phenomenal. I wanted to keep the dog with me as long as I could, but there are too many other firemen trying to latch on.
Tell me the circumstances of how you were brought to the scene. Who called you and how did you get to the scene?
We were dispatched to the scene, engine 35.
Right out of here, or out of the one down there?
Right.
Okay, and you've been at the same place for 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, 2 years I rotated out.
Okay, so you get down to the scene, and you just, what did you say? You said you saw it was pretty amazing.
We arrived
you saw down there.
a minute or two after the second collapse. I mean, I'm sorry, a minute or two before the second collapse.
Okay.
I guess we were about 8 blocks away.
And you said something about the size of the debris field. What did it look like?
The debris field, it looked like the moon. It was like being on the moon. It was a completely different world.
And it was like, you said, the size of like 16...
You couldn't see the other end. And it was 16 acres large. I mean, we found that out after the fact. It was a tremendous debris field.
So when did you meet Bear and Scott? How did that come about?
That was later on in the day. I'd have to guesstimate, I guess, around between 1 and 3 p.m. And I stumbled across him and another firefighter friend of mine, TJ Mundy, between those times.
Yeah. Now, what did he? How did you use his services? How did he help you?
Like I said, the debris field was so large that it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack to try to make recoveries and rescues. So
that's all I want to get a sense of is, what did this guy help you do with Bear? How did he help you find your chief? Talk about that, and that's it. So you saw Scott, you saw Bear, and then what did these guys do? What did they do to help you to find your chief?
This gentleman, Scott, was directing his dog around the debris field with us, which was amazing in itself. Well, one, to see a dog there so quickly, and two, to see this dog climb up and over some of these pieces of steel and crushed concrete. But the dog had his nose buried down in there and was working hard. The dog was out there working as hard as we were.
What were the circumstances of finding the chief? How did that happen? What did the dog do?
The dog kind of hits on an area. He circles it a little bit. He'll sit down, and I don't know anything about searching with dogs. I was really relying on Scott Shields to direct the dog, and Scott says he's hit a spot. He's got a spot, something here. My friend TJ Mundy, firefighter Mundy, had asked if he was sure. He said, I'm positive this is the spot. It's definitely a hot area. So we left fireman Mundy there. I moved on with Scott and Bear. We moved about 100 yards away, and Bear hit on another spot, which we were able to make a recovery within 3-4 minutes of that hit.
Really? Now, how much credit do you give Bear in helping you find your chief?
All of it. We would have found him, regardless, like every one of the firemen there. But we never would have found him that quick. And it was by chance that it happened to be Gansey, but
how's our audio, bud? Okay, fine. I just want a couple other things and we'll be done here. You don't work with these dogs all the time either, so just for the viewer who doesn't work with these kind of dogs at all, obviously, and doesn't know much about them, just give us a sense of how important they were to the overall scheme of things of what was going on down there that day. how much did they help you guys in trying to accomplish your goal of getting these guys recovered?
Well, in the aftermath, I think the dogs played a pretty key role in recoveries because of their sense of smell and their abilities to locate bodies. Because, like I said, the debris field was so large. Where do you start? You know, you just didn't know where to start, and they were the answer. They gave us that answer. The dogs pretty much looked at us and said, "This is where you're going to start," and that's what we went with. But Bear was phenomenal. I wanted to keep the dog with me as long as I could, but there were too many other firemen trying to latch on, and Scott too. There's a guy. I'm not too sure how old Scott is. He's a few years older than me, and he beat up.
He's bagging away out there.
Yeah, he was beat up, and the man was going strong. And
that dog's pretty old too. He's like an 11-year-old dog.
Most of us stayed down there. We were there every day for weeks. And I passed Scott many times through a 2-week period thereafter. You know, so.
The only other thing I wanted to ask you then is, you found the dog helped find your chief, and the dog was definitely involved with stuff that was going on down there. Did you see other civilian people like Scott with dogs, or was it mostly official, search and rescue kind of dogs and animals you saw down there? Or that's something you didn't really pay much attention to?
In all honesty, I didn't know if Scott was a civilian. I didn't know if Scott was a civil servant, trained professional.
You didn't really care?
I believe I saw he had his marina patches on. He did some work with different marinas, I think some SAR units or something. But it didn't matter at that point. And that was the only dog that I saw that day, and so quickly. And after the first recovery, I was sold. I didn't know if the dog was fine in my book.
We're going to get a shot of you and I talking. You did great.